Hey, Smarter Vet business owners, this is CJ Burnett here with Florida Veterinary Advisors, and I know I say this all the time, I'm going to say it again. You probably heard me say this ad nauseum because you've gone to our CE presentations, you've seen us at the Western Vet Conference, you've seen us all over the place at this point, most likely. If you haven't, that's cool too. Maybe this is the first video that you're seeing of us. We say this all the time. There's only three purposes that you can give the dollars in your business when it comes to paying employees beyond what a salary or an hourly wage. And the three purposes are: you can either use dollars in your business to reward people, you can use dollars in your business to retain people, or you can use dollars in your business to recruit people. There's really only three ways, possibilities that you can do. Fortunate enough for us, they all start with R, so that makes it easy. So it's reward, recruit, retain. Those are the three ways that you can use a dollar in your business in order to show employees that they're valuable and at the same time increase the profitability of the business. When we increase profitability, then generally speaking, we're going to increase the ability to pay employees more. We're going to increase the ability to serve the community more, even if the things that we give away or that we donate, right? You can do that with the more money that you have. You're able to give more back. Now, we've seen a lot of business owners give cash at the end of the year, like right around Christmas, right? They just give a cash bonus to employees, and usually it's not tied to anything. It's just kind of like, hey, we did good this year. You did well. We're so happy. We love you. Here's some money. And it's just kind of this, every Christmas, they just give out some random amount of money, and not a whole lot of times the employees know exactly what to expect. So we believe that there are two adverse side effects to doing this type of reward program, this cash bonus, if you will. And first, that bonus often establishes a baseline for what they can expect in the future. So a good example is if you bonus somebody $1,000 around Christmas time for the reason that the business did well and that you really enjoyed all their hard work over the year, what do you think they're going to ask or expect for next year? Well, it's at least $1,000, right? If you gave them $1,000 in 2018, then in 2019, more than likely, they're thinking maybe potentially that $1,000 is coming. And if they don't get it, they're probably going to start thinking maybe the business isn't doing that well as it was before. So it puts a business owner in a very awkward position a lot of the time when it comes to this bonusing of cash without it really being tied to anything. Secondly, the ambiguity of the bonus, where it doesn't have a specific metric that it's tied to that the employee can control. The employee's not really exactly sure what the expectation is of them on the other side of it. Right? Okay, so you did a good job this year. Well, does that mean that next year, if you don't give me a bonus, I didn't do a good job? Like it can be, the ambiguity of it can be confusing to employees. And so if you are wanting to reward employees in the short term for a job well done, there are typically some attributes that we find that you want to consider, especially when you're putting together reward programs for employees. Keep in mind, the reward for each employee might be different. You don't have to have the same reward program for every single employee. Now, first, having the reward tied to a metric in the business that's easy to calculate. A lot of business owners, they say, well, I'd really like for my secretary to get people from the front, from the waiting room into an actual exam room as soon as possible. Not really good at measuring that, very hard. Someone's got to sit there with the timer, and like as soon as they sit down, they hit the go button on the timer to time how long it takes for the person that's in the front of the office to take that person back to an exam room. Not very easy to calculate, but something that might be a lot easier to calculate is the amount of appointments on the calendar. And so if there are a certain amount of appointments on the calendar and one of them cancels, or two of them cancel, maybe giving that person some sort of reward around making sure that those spots get filled in And so that if you had 15 scheduled and then 3 cancel, that person in the front office is going to work hard and diligent in order to find the people that maybe are waiting. Maybe they have an appointment next week. She can start calling the people next week and see if they're open to fill in the slot sooner. And that's a measurable thing. At the end of the week, were there 15 appointments that were kept or 20 appointments that were kept? Obviously, some veterinary practices do a lot more, some, right? So it just kind of depends on where you're at. So it's tied to a metric in the business that's easy to calculate. Second, it's something they can control the inputs on. So it's not very fun to just pay somebody on results, on the outcomes of their actions. Sometimes you want to figure out how you can pay somebody on the inputs, their personal inputs. So I think that if you look at the 4 Disciplines of Execution, it's a great book. If you haven't read it, it talks about lead and lag measures. A lead measure is something that is controllable, it's predictable, it can be done over and over again. A lag measure is the result of that lead measure. So bonusing people based on lead measures is often very good. And even in the book, it talks about creating a compelling scoreboard and the like, which I think is a really good thing to adopt. And then third, it's got to be tied that their actual position has a defined goal that can be hit daily, not something that's monthly. It's oftentimes really hard to hit a goal on a monthly basis. It's a whole lot easier to hit a goal on a daily basis, something that's smaller, something that's digestible. Instead of trying to create this reward program on a monthly basis, maybe you pay them monthly, but their reward is based maybe on something daily or even weekly. And then fourth, it has a direct impact on revenues or profits or costs or culture. There is something that they do that enhances some attribute in the business that continues to allow the business to provide life-giving careers, life-giving goals, life-giving services to the community, to its employees, and to the business owner. Now remember, if you haven't already listened to our podcast, there's a link somewhere around this post, maybe somewhere around this video that you can click on, and it will forward you to our podcast. Also, if you want more tips and tricks on how to approach financial decisions, check out our financial planning video mini-series. We actually took a bunch of our secrets and we put them online. Reach out to us, obviously, if you also want some help yourself, if you want to talk about business planning or personal planning, keep us in mind. See you next time.